Okay, Bobby, I had everything out in my herb garden to make your goulash except thyme.
Well, we never have enough of that.
No, we never. Yours. That's why I love you so much. You're so daggum funny. So anyway, I've got some Italian seasoning here, so I'm just gonna use that because it's got the thyme in it. No, the weeds ate my thyme. But I've got the basil, oregano, and some rosemary. So I'm gonna make a little bundle and put in this.
Oh, I love it.
And so you call me a month or so back.
That's
and
how
said,
long out I
"Mama."
have to put the reservation in for the goulash. It's like a very exclusive restaurant to come to your house and get the dish that you
Oh,
want.
my hands smell lickable.
Yeah, there's nothing like, I know, I got it.
Smell.
There's nothing like
But
fresh herbs
anyway,
from the
you
garden.
called me a couple of months back and you
Yes.
said, Mama, I'm trying to make the goulash like you said, and it's not like yours.
And do you remember what you told me?
Yes, I do remember.
Okay, well, let's relive it.
I
Hey,
said,
Mama.
Okay.
I'm making your goulash, and it just doesn't look like yours. It doesn't smell like yours. It's just not right. This is
tastes
not your
like
goulash. You said.
Tell me the first thing you've done, son.
Okay, well, I browned my meat, and then I drained it.
Wrong.
Stop right there, is what you said.
Hey, friends, I'm so glad you could join Bobby and me in the kitchen today because this is his favorite food growing up. It's his birthday.
Still my favorite food grown up.
Yes, for your last birthday.
My most recent birthday.
Yeah, your most recent birthday.
Never say last
I cooked something, but I can't remember what I cooked. But I cooked that pot of
It's
goulash
always
that
goulash.
had nothing to do with
Oh, yeah,
nothing.
that's right. I think you did
I
like
cooked
a...
the goulash for you to carry home.
That's right. And there was a full other meal that just didn't make any sense
It had
together.
nothing to do with
It might have been
nothing.
Low Country Boil. It might have been something
I
like
think it
that that
was.
was the complete opposite. If you look at what we have in front of us,
Yeah.
not everybody's fortunate enough to have a garden where they can walk out and get their own
But
fresh
you-
vegetables, fresh herbs.
But you can buy them from the
Oh, those
grocery
pretty-
store.
yeah, you can.
Fresh,
But
so
there's-
it's not a problem.
But
I
if you
know.
look at the ingredients here, I mean, you've got a nice blend of meat. I see that you got a ground beef, you got a sausage, and maybe a chicken is what it looks like.
Right. I got
But-
a chicken, and that's a mild Italian sausage that's out of the skin. So this is a very Italian dish, Bobby. You could put meatballs in this.
Yeah.
And you'd have spaghetti and meatballs. But this is really goulash, and it's not the authentic. This is like South Georgia goulash.
Right, this is not Hungarian.
It's not
goulash.
Hungarian goulash. But, like I said, you could make this whole sauce and just put over spaghetti by leaving out your noodles. But you like yours all mixed up together, so that's what we're going to do.
Well, I think that it's what you grow up with.
Yes.
Because my point with this was going to be, if you look at this, you got a nice blend of meats, and that always makes a dish good when you
Yes.
can put together a blend of meats. But if you look at
Yes.
the sauces and you look at the, you got the noodles and stuff, there's nothing really
Yeah.
exceptional here that makes this
No.
an outstanding meal. I think what makes it good is that it comes from, your mom.
Your mama. That's
Because
right.
even when you've talked me through the recipe, because we've done that before, where I call you because apparently
Yeah.
I'm dumb and I just
No,
can't get
you're
it.
not dumb.
You've walked me through it, and still, when I get finished, it doesn't taste exactly like yours. Do you know what I mean?
Well-
and I think it's just got a lot to do with just it being
Son,
you.
I experienced the same thing trying to reproduce my mother and my grandmother's dishes. To me, something's always so much better when you don't have to fix it yourself.
Now, you know what? You might be onto something
Yes,
there.
yes.
Maybe just being able to sit back and watch somebody else cook.
Yes,
is
and
what makes it good.
just you hadn't put a bit of effort in it. The only thing you're gonna put in it's your fork.
Yep, exactly. So, but you probably don't. You make this once a year for me. You probably don't make it that much outside of that, do you? Does Michael ask for this?
No, it's not something he asked for. I have figured out a way to make the most incredible spaghetti and meatballs, and one day I want to share that with everybody because I just, I said, all meatballs can't be tough and hard. I've got to figure out a way how to change that. And I got in here and I figured it out, Bobby. And I want to share that with everybody one day, but I can't can't do it today.
Well, you've got my
But we will
curiosity
look
piqued
forward.
because I didn't realize that you were still trying to figure out anything. I thought you had it all nailed.
Oh, no, honey, you never. I learn something new every day of my life. I learn something new.
Well, this is
And you want to make sure you don't put that paper
Yeah,
in there.
don't
Cook
do that.
paper.
Don't do that.
All
This is
right.
one of those dishes. You know what I like about it is that it, especially when it's finished, it looks like you've put a lot of effort into it. And, you know, maybe there's effort, but it's not a really difficult meal to
No.
put together. I really like kind of just a dump pot dish. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's not a pretty way to say it.
Well, we
but
all
one of
like
those pots
those.
where you just put everything in and it comes out to be a great meal.
And you know, more
But-
and more of us are cooking out of our crock pots and
Well, it's one of those things that is, how do I say it? It's old, but it never gets old, that style of cooking. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
That will
right.
always be a current way of cooking
to
in
me,
a
Bobby,
great way. to cook.
I refer to this as just honest, humble, home cooking food.
That's a good way. That's a good way to put it. One of the best compliments I got when I put out my first cookbook was I had a food stylist that I was working with look at it and give me her honest estimation of it. And I'm going to repeat the word, but that's exactly what she said. Was these are just really honest recipes.
Just honest.
And I thought that was just the nicest thing to say. You know.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
the best compliment I could get. Well, the next best compliment was when it went to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. But that's a
There
whole
is
nother.
nothing.
That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother show, isn't it?
It is.
And you're
Literally.
right. You're right. There is nothing like that feeling. All right, Bobby, I'm gonna get our onions.
Now watch your fingers. Now where's your claw at, Mama? You got to use the claw when you're cutting.
I
it.
know, son, but that's hard for me
Crying
to.
out loud, Mama knows best.
I know.
We don't want to go to the hospital because
I
I'm
know.
hungry.
I know. I'm bad about not using the claw.
At least you still got all your digits.
Yeah, I still got all my digits.
That's smelling good
Bobby,
already.
I was on a show. They gave me a gift of these wooden spoons.
Look at that.
Jamie spoon's been used a lot.
Jamie Spoon's got mold on it.
I know. Bobby, your spoon. Look, Michael's hadn't gotten used at all.
Michael ain't that handsome. Come on.
And there's Mama's spoon.
Well, now let me ask you this: am I making a mistake by not putting the onions in the pan first? Because I always do. I always start with browning the onions and
No.
then add the meat to it.
No, I'm going to add this. Once this is brown, then I'm going to add this. But you can do it any way you want
Now
to.
I know the garlic goes
But-
in late because garlic will burn.
Yeah. I like the flavors of 3 different meats. And one of these meats is chicken, one is beef, and one is a mild Italian.
Pork, yeah.
But you could use a breakfast sausage, you know, that you buy in those 1-pound rolls. Or you could get your butcher to grind you up just like fresh pork from their pork chops or whatever.
It always, anything you do, I think whether you do burgers or you do meatloaf or whatever, it's good to use a blend of meat.
Yes.
That always just adds a little something to it. You know, little things like that, your fresh herbs, making your own garlic paste.
Yeah.
That's a good way to add really a lot of freshness and extra flavor to a dish like this. Simple tricks like using the blend of meats, using fresh herbs, making a garlic paste or something like that. Because these other items, they're great, but they're not anything special, and they may be out of a jar, right?
Oh, gosh, yes. I tell you what, I don't like using diced tomatoes. I like to use pureed tomatoes. And it's much like a tomato sauce. I can't remember what it's actually called. It's called crushed.
Yeah.
I use crushed tomatoes.
Right.
And then I've got a can of tomato sauce.
You don't use a tomato paste at all? And I know what that
No,
is.
tomato paste is too rich and makes it too thick.
I love it.
But you do. Well,
I like to add just a touch. When I'm doing Italian dishes,
you could certainly
love to
put
add some
that.
tomato paste,
You
too.
could certainly put that. You know, that's what I love about cooking. I'll show you how I do it, but then you make it your own. Now, this, to me, is the secret. Well, this is a 4-cheese
I've seen it.
sauce by Rao's.
It's great.
RAO''S. So now I'm going to add, and at this point, you would have finished browning that and drained it off.
Yeah, well, I'm
not
surprised that the
gonna-
onions go in after you brown the meat.
Well, it doesn't matter. You can do it any way you want to.
I've always thought that I was adding a lot of flavor to the meat by adding the meat to the brown
this
onion.
is going to cook in, and it's going to be
not
so
gonna matter one bit.
delicious.
Well, now where's the butter?
Hush, Bobby.
Maybe it'll go on the toast that you
I do
made.
that when nobody's looking. There's too
You
many
think
people.
so?
Yeah, there's too many
You think
people.
nobody's looking when you put the butter in? You think anybody's mad about the butter? Seriously though, do you add butter to this?
I might.
That's why. That's
At
why
the
mine's
end-
never like yours, because I've never put butter.
At the end, I might. All right.
Might.
So I made us a little bouquet of the rosemary, basil, and oregano.
Beautiful.
And like I said, because I don't have time,
So what are you gonna do? You just gonna toss that in like that?
yeah, I'm gonna toss this in and let
Really?
that cook. Yes. And then I'm gonna add
Into the meat or once the sauce is added?
right there.
Really?
Yeah. And then I'll
This
take
is
it
not
out.
at all the way that I make goulash.
Well, you know what? This recipe's probably not in any of my cookbooks because I never do the same thing twice. And like I said, because I don't have time, I'm gonna add some extra Italian seasoning because remember, Bobby, that, I know you remember. Heck, I'm gonna put it on.
Wondering what you were doing.
I know
dainty.
that you know that these herbs are a lot stronger than these herbs. It takes 2 to 3 times the amount of fresh herbs that it does of your dry herbs. They're more concentrated, they're more potent. All right, so now I'm gonna start.
But not necessarily better.
No, I ain't said nothing about that. So,
No, you ain't said nothing about that.
so I'm gonna use my spatula, my butter, y'all.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Spatula, and I'm gonna start putting our liquids in.
Love it.
So I'm adding a regular can of tomato sauce, Bobby. And now I'm gonna add a large can of crushed tomatoes. And now the thing that makes it so good.
Yeah, your friends.
Yes, my friends from Rayo. Yum. And those herbs are swimming around in that beautiful swimming pool of tomatoes.
Swimming
All
pool
right.
juice.
Now let's talk about
You are
this.
one expressive lady.
All right, this
The
is
special seasoning.
yeah, this is the special.
What's special about that seasoning, Pearl?
Oh, it's so good, Bobby. It's got everything you need, son. It's got salt and pepper and onions and garlic. Now let's talk about the
Noodles.
noodle.
Cavatappi.
Cavatappi noodles, y'all.
Cavatappi.
Cavatappi.
Cavity toppy.
Cavity toppy.
Cavatappi?
Cavatappi.
Cavatappi.
Look at these noodles, y'all.
Noodles.
Y'all just look at them real good. They kind of look like an elbow, but they're a little like corkscrews.
They look like an elbow that's been through the meat grinder.
Uh-huh.
Cavatappi noodles.
Yes, that's what I'm using.
Just a fancy looking ringlet
It's
type
just
noodle.
a little fancier looking.
Looks
than
like a
your-
pig's tail.
Kind of looks like a pig's tail.
Yep. All right, so you've got the meat.
All right,
and
now
you've got
normally, Bobby,
you got the wet, and you got your bouquet of herbs.
I got everything.
Everything's in the swimming
Except
pool juice.
in the swimming pool.
Okay.
But-
when do the noodles go into
Well,
the
that's
swimming
just
pool
it.
juice?
That's what we got to debate. Because if I put these noodles in here, I don't have a big enough pot.
Right.
I should have used
A bigger pot.
a bigger pot.
Yes.
So
You've just made a little mistake. That's all right. I'm sure you
I
have
haven't made a
select-
mistake.
Well,
My
you
pots
chose.
are perfect.
You, right, they are. You just chose the wrong one. I'm sure that this is one of.
Don't-
I'm sure that there are several that come in this collection, right? This is not a singular pot.
No,
it came
this is-
probably with other
yes.
ones. I bet it's got
So-
a big brother, doesn't it?
oh, you want to see the big brother?
Sure.
All right, let me find that big brother.
Well, imagine not knowing where it is in this kitchen.
Oh no, I know where it is.
Do you? Now that is a goulash pot.
This is my favorite pot in the whole world.
That
you think I ought to switch
beautiful. Yes.
All right, Bobby, don't you worry, son.
So just like that, right?
No.
No?
No, you gotta pour it in. Goofy. All right. Yum. So now that we got the room, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna cook our cavatappi.
Cavatappi, yes.
I said it right.
You did.
Yay. I'm gonna add
Unless it's pronounced cavatappi, in which case you didn't say it right.
Well, if you think I said it right, that's all that matters to me.
I think you did.
All that matters to me is what you think.
That's the way I say it.
And Bobby, I love using cracked black pepper.
Me too.
And I think where you're sitting is my container of.
Ooh,
yeah.
Wow, look at all the good salts too. Ooh, I'm gonna come over here and rob.
Well, help yourself, son, because I don't use most of this stuff. Now, you can add hot sauce to this. You could add.
Oh, and I do.
You could add crushed red peppers.
I do.
You do?
I do.
I know I've got crushed. Yeah, I got some crushed red
some pepper flakes.
So I'll put a few of those in there.
Ooh, yeah.
But normally, when you were growing up, and I was cooking this for you. I know. But when you were a young boy, I wouldn't put things like that in it because I didn't want to burn y'all up.
Thank you.
So that's it. We're just going to put the lid on this and let it cook. I'm going to bring the temperature up and get it really hot again.
Mm-hmm. You told me recently that you had gone down to the restaurant, and I did too. I went down to the
Oh,
restaurant.
Bobby, I'm so glad.
I had the best time just walking around talking to people.
Some of the greatest people in the world walk through our doors.
Well, you're right about that. Very nice people that appreciate
just good salt of the earth people.
Right, that appreciate good food. You know, and a lot of people that really appreciate your story, since we are very much like everybody that comes there.
Yeah.
Just regular old people.
Regular folk.
All right, enough of chewing the fat. I'm ready to chew the fat that's in that pot.
Okay,
so
well,
is it ready?
Almost ready.
Okay.
Okay, Bobby, it's finally ready, son.
Well, everybody's hungry.
And you notice I had some, wait, now I'm gonna mess this up. Parmigiano Parmigiano Romano mixed cheese.
Is that the kind you had?
Yes, fresh grated.
How is it? Is it good?
You're the goulash expert,
It's good.
so you tell me.
Oh, and it's so good. That's what I'm talking about. When I tell you that I want goulash, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, I'm so glad I did it for you. What do you like, more meat or more noodles?
I like them both so much, but given the option, I would say extra meat.
I like extra noodles.
Do you? Mm-hmm. Well, everybody's different. You know what I really like? I like that it's just you and me and nobody else is here to share.
Isn't that the truth? We don't have many of these quiet meals, do we?
Mm-mm. Did you put the butter in it?
No, I didn't. You'd be
liar.
I did not. I did not
Liar.
put, nope, not one speck of butter. I promise. It's cause I forgot.
Did you really?
Yeah, I meant to.
Well, you know what?
I meant to put a couple of tablespoons in.
Turns out it doesn't need it. And you probably could have put anything you wanted to in this goulash, and I wouldn't have cared, because the only thing that matters is that I was here eating it with you.
Yes. I feel like you and I both had a great time being together. And there's nothing better than that for any mother or father. I just hope that y'all enjoyed it as much as we did, because it makes Bobby and me so very happy to know that you're on the other end. And we send y'all all kind of love. We hope you have a blessed day, and we hope that you'll be back the next time we be back.
Yeah. And I hope the next time I come over here and ask you for butter, I get some butter. I ain't getting
I'll put some of the butter in.
Made in Georgia.